I was at my daughter-in-law's place yesterday and said, well, Beeves, today is Friday. In my head, Friday and basketball games. I was going to go to a basket. She says, Dad, it's only Monday. She said.
Do you have the farmer's market?
I do.
Okay, I was like,
how you can,
Someone's got to go to basketball.
okay,
well, we lost by 2 points, so we're out.
we're out too. So, farmer's market.
Okay, I was asked by Payson from the Chamber of Commerce and the Farmers Market, I guess it's the Shoshone Chamber Foundation, to write a letter in support of a grant that they are seeking, and I will read the letter. I am writing on behalf of the Lincoln County Commissioners in support of the Lincoln County Crossroads Farmers Market Shoshone Chamber Foundation's proposal to the Idaho Commission on the Arts for a grant to fund the music at the Farmers Market Summer Music Series. We strongly support this grant application and the focus on music. The Farmers Market and the Shoshone Chamber Foundation is a vital community element for Lincoln County, bringing in patrons through art and music events to help support the businesses and residents. Each year, hundreds of locals, vendors, and visitors come to our community to enjoy the music, food, and homemade crafts and wares. Our low to moderate income community benefits greatly from these events. The music is one of, if not the number one draw to all market, if not the one to a market. All ages enjoy the music and a sense of belonging that's a commonality and bond for young and old alike. As you know, the cost of musicians is expensive, and alleviating some of the burden would be huge as our budget is very tight. In closing, the Lincoln County Commissioners stand behind the Farmers Market and Shoshone Chamber Foundation and their continued efforts to put forth such amazing events to improve the lives of so many people through music. So I'm just asking if we could sign this in support of possibly getting up to $1,100 in a grant for music at Arts and Park.
I am definitely on board. The chamber has always been good about signing support letters for our grants. So, and the music is always fabulous. I love to come down. You guys might want to have a booth there.
All right. It's a good thing in the park too.
Yeah.
I'll second. Did you make the motion?
No, but I'll make a motion to sign the letter in support of the Farmers Market Shoshone Chamber Foundation grant.
I will second that.
Motion second to sign the letter in support, and hope they get that.
Yeah.
All in favor, signify by saying yes.
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 Motion passes.
Cindy, can you see that Payson gets that?
All right, sheriff's office move, electrical. Oh no, courthouse phone. I'm trying to jump ahead all day, aren't I? Courthouse phone. Let's do courthouse phone first. Yeah.
Yes, that's.
Yeah. So we talked about phone systems last week quite a bit, and we talked about the savings. Do you have your paper? Oh, good. Can I see it one more time?
And I have ETS here to answer any questions if needed on the phone system.
All my chicken scratch.
Oh, this is the one I was looking at here. So all told, if you took out the IT part of it, and you just did the phone part of it, 16, 17, it's more than 18,000 just the basically the phone part of it. Even if you want to go over that one more time, please.
So we're paying Datatel 3581. I was speaking with
got, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Last week, and our long distance might be the same.
Yeah.
CenturyLink, and then our Cable One Sparklight. So CenturyLink's more the phone, so that's 9317
CenturyLink is also the
internet.
for EMS.
Which we're changing, so.
Yes.
And then Cable One, the Sparklight, it's 4944. So there's many different things into one. And then the phone through ETS was 10,771, but the monthly was 520.18. And that can change because of the amount of calls waiting out to be answered, which are $20 a call.
Yeah, so your phone system is scalable up or down depending on how many active calls you want to be able to accept. The phone system that we quoted, we base it off your current call structure, which will have the possibility of having, right now it's quoted at 15 with active lines. So you could have 15 people call in and everybody be on the phone at the same time with 15 people. A lot of times what happens is over the years, traditional phone lines you order from CenturyLink or Sparklight or these carriers, and they bring in an analog phone line to the building. And if you're on that line, it's busy, so it's taken up. And so you have to order so many lines in order to have so many calls stacked. The new phone systems are a digital phone system, and so you pay for what's called a SIP trunk, and that acts like the analog line, but it's just a digital interface. So if you guys ordered the phone system with 15 SIP trunks, we might come to find out that at a peak time during the year, maybe you guys only need 8 active SIP trunks. Like that's the max you guys have ever hit in a year's time. We could take that 15 at any time, whether it's the start of the contract or near the middle or the end, and we can bring that down to 10. Maybe you want to give yourself some wiggle room. So you can save money by bringing it down once you have those statistics and how many calls are coming into your organization. That's going to save you about $20 per SIP trunk. So you can save money. Right now it's quoted as it is now with your organization. You currently have about 15 phone lines coming in. And so we just quoted it as such. But yeah, it's scalable to go more or less.
And I know with the remodel of the basement, Scott looked at a box full of wires.
That's a good description for that.
A mess. To me, it just looks like a rat mess.
You do have, so last week we came out and we did an IT audit assessment on the overall IT. As part of that, we looked at the big white, if you go in the basement, this big white box panel, it's a big wood lock on it. That's where all your analog lines come into the building and feed to all your phones throughout the building. We're going to address the networking side in the quote that we propose next week, but that whole box, that entire wood area, will basically be able to be stripped out and destroyed completely when we introduce the new phone system, because it's going to be digital, so you won't need any of those analog services. And then all the phone traffic will be routing through the network ports on the walls, which are not part of that wood box. That's all old analog RJ11 type cable. The new cable is a network cable that your computers use, and we'll just be using that same cable connection to run your phone and the computer.
Hello, come on in.
Throughout the office.
The Cat 5.
Yeah, Cat 5, Cat 5e, Cat 6.
Not like we would ever lose internet connection, but say we lose internet connection, do we then lose the phones as well?
So the nice part about this phone system, it's a great question because voice over IP phone systems rely on the internet for them to work in your office. The phone system that we're going to provide is hosted on the point of presence servers over at the Shoshone POP, and we have the 10 gig internet coming in there, and it's called an SLA, a service level agreed connection, so that you have a really good uptime on that. So the servers are hosted there. If your building was to, maybe somebody ran down the road with a big potato truck and tore down fiber lines, or maybe somebody dug up the fiber line going to your building, you could lose internet at your building, which means your handsets on your desk might not work. But this phone system we're proposing has an application that you can put on any smartphone. So as long as your smartphone has power and has connection to a cell tower to receive your data, your same phone traffic goes to your desk phone, flows right to that app on your phone, so that you have a redundant secondary phone system, which is hosted out of the data center that should have internet connection.
Is the generator power?
It's got backup generator, backup batteries, and an SLA internet connection.
How did you come up with the 50 calls?
So that was based off some information that Sheriff provided.
I think we just threw a number out. I threw a number out there. Every office, a couple phone lines. You know, my office, Linda's office, Ann's office.
So you just
Cora's.
pretended everybody was on the phone.
So
Yeah.
you feel that that's a good, reasonable number?
I have no
I'd like
idea.
it to be less.
I think it's
what
high.
I'm getting at
Yeah, I think
is
it's probably
starting
higher.
up at a higher one, we're gonna have to pay for that.
Yes.
And then later on you say, if we can come down,
Mhm.
why don't we start down charging us less?
Yeah.
And then as we need it, we can go up.
We could definitely do
And
that.
we can tell if somebody's on a getting a busy tone, right?
Well, the nice thing about this phone system is you're not going to, if somebody calls in and you have 4 people on the phone at the same time, and maybe you only pay for 4 SIP trunks, if that 5th person calls in, they're not going to get a busy tone.
Yeah.
They're going to get the automated county's phone system that's going to say, press this for this option, press 2 for
Leave a
counting or
message or
this
whatever.
department. And when they push that button, if somebody's on the phone, it just goes to that person's voicemail, and then you can call them back. That's the only difference. So they're not going to get a busy signal. So yeah, we could start with 6 or
Cindy?
7 SIP trunks.
So Sandy and I and Lynn, we all have, we see everybody.
Right, you have the board. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I rarely see everything lit up. Never. That's never happened.
Yeah.
I would say maybe between the 5 to 8, because even though we have all these different phone extensions, our office only has 1 line coming in. Yours only has 2. Yours only has 1 line coming in.
Yeah, but still, if I'm on the line and someone calls, it
The other
can
one-
still ring to the other girl.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it can
Right.
still go to that prioritized hunt group
Exactly.
or ring group.
So what I'm saying is, there's no way we need 15, because understanding what you're talking about, I would say the 5 to 8 range would be a good place to start if that's what you guys wanted to do. Even maybe,
Well, that would save us a lot of money.
I would
Let
start
me,
at 10. I'd start at 10.
I just want to also add that with this phone system, you have more capabilities with it versus your other one where you're kind of secluded to just your desk phones.
right?
You might have sheriff and different remote workers
Mhm.
that are going to start using the phone system with their cell phone,
Yeah,
which also takes up one of those lines. So
right. Oh,
maybe instead of going all the way down to 5, we go with like 8 instead of 15 or something like that. Kind of
Well, even 10 or something
Or
I
like
think
that.
10's a good number.
Yeah.
If-
Whatever
and
it
then we
is.
can see how that works.
You just let us know.
And then you have a way to monitor this to see
Yeah.
if there's people out there waiting and maybe we do need extra.
Mhm.
Extra.
Yep.
And will we get on the desk phones like how hers is all of them? The rest of us at least have like a caller ID on it. Will we
So-
get those?
Everybody will have a desk phone that has an LED screen that you can see who's on the call. You can have all the buttons pre-programmed.
Uh-huh.
They make physical sidecars, which you can attach to the phone that has all the other buttons, so you can see them in physical format. But the phone system will provide training with this, but you'll have an app on your computer called the Phone Web App, and you'll be able to see every single extension in your whole organization in just a little tiny web browser screen you can keep on your screen at any time. And you can also click and say, transfer this call to this person and manage it. Like
So
a call
we're
center.
going to need also new hardware for
Each desk inside this quote covers putting new hardware on all
Oh, that's
desks.
covered that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's covered inside that.
Thank you.
I'm happy to hear the box can go away because I was trying to figure out what we were doing with that big old box.
Yeah, there's about 4 things that we need to do inside that box, and there's 4 analog lines providing fax services. We'll need to go and tone out and terminate those lines and pull them back out of that box and route them. Which we want to do is route them up to that main comm room and locate everything that's telecom or ISP related into that comm space that's right there on the main floor. So that's in the plan as well.
Questions, commissioners?
Just a
It's
comment. It looks like it's a
Appreciate
no-brainer
that.
because we're going to be saving about $17,000 a year just by going with the new phone service.
Plus, get up to speed.
Plus, yeah,
Yeah.
get up to speed. Yeah, that would be my comment.
Well, I questioned that. I wasn't here at the last meeting, but the day after the meeting, or 2 days after the meeting, I came in and went over the information that you had with the sheriff. And did you digest any of the information that I left? Because I figured there would be a savings, but not quite as much as you said.
There's a savings. I mean, there's so many different.
Yeah,
Thanks
and
a lot.
I don't want to even take a
There's
lot
so
of
many
time
different
on
lines
that.
into the pot there.
Yeah,
Under
I mean,
consideration, all kind of
Once
mixes
it's
up.
all done, there is a huge saving.
Yes.
But getting there right now, there's not.
Well, the dollar amount is all that and that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we
No,
had a
and I
nice
understand what you're
discussion, and I appreciated your time and listening, and what I think we saved is not quite as much as you do, but then we'll see at the end.
At the end,
It
there's a
should
savings.
be a savings.
And it's
Yes.
still
Yes.
safe, yeah.
Sometimes you got to spend a little money up front to get on the savings track. Sometimes.
And be updated technology.
Okay. Well, I would make a motion that we approve the courthouse phone system with the ETS bid as presented.
Which is it the 10?
It's the 10, right?
10,771. Quote number EM1415.
I'll second the motion.
$10,771. Any cents?
18.
18 cents. Thank you. And you'll
I'll second.
a second. We have a motion and a second to accept the ETS quote for the new courthouse phone system. Any questions or concerns on that?
How soon
My
is this
question's
gonna
been
take place?
answered, and I appreciate the answers on it.
That's a good question.
As far as time frame, there's going to be a follow-up meeting next week that we need to address your overall core network and the internet that you guys now have in the building. It's still there on the wall, it's just not being used. So we're going to address that. The phone system can't be put in place until you have the backbone to support all of the phone voice over IP
Right.
phone system. So
Yeah, we don't
I
even
can't-
have the new internet
I
in
can't
yet.
give you
So.
an exact date on the phone system when it will be done. I will say that when you start, once the switching, the core routings, everything's in place, when you issue a port request from your existing phone service provider, that can take up to 4 to 6 weeks for all of that SIP trunk building process and the porting numbers to come across and get released from the
I see.
existing one. So there is a time that I can't control, but it is just 4 to 6 weeks once it's started.
But once, there will be no dead time between,
The cutover,
the cutover.
there will not. So it'll be
Instantaneous.
desk phones will be placed, and your old phones will be right there. And as soon as we make the switch,
Okay,
they'll start ringing to the new phones.
okay, thank you.
No downtime.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying yes.
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 Yes, motion passes. Thank you. All right, Sheriff's Office move electrical. I see we have some electricians here joining us.
So I asked them to come in because I'm not an electrician.
Okay,
They came in last Wednesday or Thursday, I believe. And the little I don't know and know, I guess, there's a fire safety issue with the electrical there. And I'll have them explain more on this, if you would.
Yeah. Come up here.
Yeah, or anywhere.
I was actually not the technician on site, but ran through it with them. I'm the operations manager with Magic. My electrical manager as well, Alex. the biggest part is just the undersize of wires. You have one service going to one side of the building that's fed with a 1/2-inch EMT number 10, feeding a 80 amp panel. So it's not even going to handle a load that's going to be put in there by the people you're adding, computers, phones, everything that'll be going in there as well. And same with the other side, it's fed also with 80. The wire size is larger, but it's still a concern. There's no grounding in the building. I know one side, so we would definitely have to fix that up with GFCI breakers to help protect the equipment that you're putting in there, and therefore replacing both services on the outside of the building and the interior panels as well.
And Sheriff, you said that currently there could be a fire hazard.
So there is 20 gauge wire,
With 30
amp fuses
Ooh,
Oh, wonderful.
right now. So.
right now. Yeah. We don't
So
have the reason-
regardless of
That could turn those wires pretty hot. couldn't it?
Yeah.
They get a little hot, for sure.
So regardless of any move, we have a fire hazard in that building.
Yes, we do.
Well, that probably calls for some maintenance.
I think I brought this up here a couple of weeks ago.
I think you did. So I received 2 bids. The first one I didn't even bother with getting it on paper, but it was upwards of $24,000. This is the second one. I figured it was.
Well, we've been working with Magic over at the care center, and they've been pretty good to us. Plus, I will note it's under the amount that we need to go out to bid on. So, well, there's 2 parts to this. First of all, there's the sheriff's move, and whether to get the building ready for him to go in there. The other part is just that we have a building that now has too small of wire. Now we've been notified that there's a fire hazard, so there's a whole nother part to this that we probably should address. So, any questions, Shirley?
I just hate all these Band-Aids, but then it's a necessity.
Well, I'm not sure this is a
isn't
Band-Aid.
This is making
This
it
is
right.
fixing a
And this is what
Band-Aid.
we should be
If
doing.
you
is
put this
making it
in,
right.
you're putting in a new panel. Will that give us any breakers that we can add on to?
Absolutely.
How many more?
I mean, as many as we want. We can put in a 42 space panel in each side of the building.
And the whole building will be electrically grounded then to where it meets all legal.
Yeah, there's is the east side. Which one has the fuse panel? I wasn't on site, so
The fuse panel is the east side.
the east side has 2 wire system, but with the panel, it's where any new equipment's going to be added or new outlets that need it. It'll be up to code. They'll have grounds to the panel, and that's why we were going to add the GFCI breakers to protect the 2 wire system and change the outlets to 3-prong receptacles. So you'll have that protection that you need. throughout the
Will
building.
that include updating for what we have rented out to WIC on the west side?
Yes, this is both sides.
Okay.
New outdoor service
So
and
it's not
inside
just
panels.
one side?
The whole building.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the whole thing.
That was my question. I didn't.
Right.
It's a no-brainer.
I don't think we have any choices here, guys.
No.
I think the building has to be upgraded and brought to code. It's our duty to see to it that everybody is safe. So that would be my suggestion. Entertain a motion on that?
Okay. I'll make a motion that we hire Magic Electric to redo the wiring per the estimate. Job number 111535 in the amount of $11,330 to, is it 115 West A Street? Yeah, 115 West
Yes.
A in Churchill.
Can you repeat the amount, please?
$11,330.
I have a question.
Yes.
When approving the electrical build out, does the county have a generator already on site for this building?
Yes.
Just one second. Let me second that, and then we'll open the discussion. Okay, go ahead. Do we have a generator on site for that building?
Not that building, this building.
This
we do.
building.
Okay.
This building, but I don't think we have a generator down there.
Okay. I just didn't want anything affected to like lock you guys out of being able to have a generator if you don't already. If they're going to be doing electrical work while they're in there, it might be good to make sure it's sufficient for your future needs. If you
We need to get this seconded and
Yeah.
taken care of.
I did. I seconded it, so we're on
Okay.
discussion now, so it's okay. So you're suggesting that that building have a generator in the future?
it's helpful if you guys are needing to have services up and going,
Would it need a very big one?
enough to power the network room if you want to have like phones and internet services still working in the event of the power outage.
Gentlemen,
Or
It will be set up, so if you wanted to have it.
it'll be set up to add, okay.
But the phone down there, if that building goes away, they still have the service through the tower up
Yes.
here though, right?
yes, they do.
And that'll have a generator.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they have to sell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
And there's a generator or server room down here at the pop station too.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but it'll be set up to add one if we so choose in the future. Okay. Okay, all in favor signify by saying yes?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes.
Step around the corner and look at the generator. It's a nice one, new one.
Actually running on time.
Yeah, we're early actually.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got here.
Magic Electric, may I ask a question?
Yes, of
Madam
course.
Chairman, could you get your secretaries over there to send the emails, whether you did a good job or not, to the courthouse rather than to me?
Yes.
You've been doing that for several years, and I've been in there a couple of times. And,
We just love you.
you always do a good job, but I don't want to be the one to say that you do. I'd rather have
Oh,
the
apparently
court.
there's all kinds of ruckus going on. on my
Okay,
post.
you do
So
that,
you
I
can post
appreciate it.
Did you post something?
I just said that we couldn't, sorry, we couldn't send it to Apparently they don't like it much.
Did we do the sheriff's office move?
Let's do the sheriff's office move now.
I thought that was the move.
No, that was the electrical. Okay, Sheriff, let's talk about, bring your list back up.
So Joanne's got the bid to
So for us to move, there's two estimates here. To get the new outlets where we need to
get it where we need to use the office, it's $66.40.
remember the last estimate we received was a little over 9,000, I believe. And then the other estimate to get fiber to the building was $86.23. And I know we were gonna check on, Jacob was gonna check on with the fire department and see if they can get some of that cost.
Did you go see the fire department?
did we?
Yeah, did Jacob go see the fire department? I didn't know.
I know he went over there, fire chief wasn't there at our last meeting. I haven't had an updated conversation with him since.
Okay.
So,
There's also South Central Public Health, rents the end of that building.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what other ones are right around the,
and maybe get with the city, because I know they awarded that water bond. I don't know if they're digging down that street for any service.
I did call the mayor on that and I told him that we wanted to know if they're going to be doing any trenches so that we could get fiber in where it needed to go ahead of time if they were doing any trenches, and he said he would keep me posted on that. So I just said we just needed to know in case we could do
Sure.
something because the wire was cheap.
Did you measure the door?
It's 36 inches.
Is that for ADA compliant?
I have no idea.
You know,
Yes.
while
Is
we're
it?
doing these things,
I believe so.
we are not ADA compliant with so many of our things here. We ought to. In fact, I think the code says that if you increase anything, it has to meet ADA compliance. So I would
was just saying
recommend
that.
doing that door.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's 36 inches.
It's 32
Is
actually.
it?
ADA is 32 minimum.
Okay.
So
And
it must
there's no
open
steps
to a
coming
90
in.
degree. It has to be 32 inches between the face of the door and the stop of the frame.
Yeah, the opening is 36.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So
And
yeah,
there's
looks like
no
it's a
steps. They got a ramp.
Oh my gosh, I got this thing down to 64 and
What
it
is
just keeps.
wrong with
I
it?
think that we have a broken heater, guys. Because I've got it down to 64 and it's still running like crazy.
Well, that whole sidewalk is at the wrong slope for ADA, but that's the cities and they'll have to put in a new sidewalk if they want to comply.
Yeah, I'll bring it up to the mayor.
All right, so if we went the fiber route, it's $15,000 for your move approximately.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't do the fiber right now and we wait a year, $66.40.
Well, then there's some additional costs with electrical because I got to put a rack in there for all our servers, and I need an air conditioning in a room to keep the servers cool.
Okay.
So you're gonna have to come in with another bid for that?
No, if we go with and get fiber there will be a direct link from the
Shoshone Park.
To the
Shoshone
pop center.
to the office, and everything will be held over there. If we don't do that and don't use fiber, then we would have to do more to the building.
So here's the thing: if we have to spend $3,000 more and bring it up to $9,600, so that, and then eventually we get this another grant because we're putting in for grants now, and we get fiber everywhere. It's just kind of a waste of money, in my opinion. That additional, whatever it is, I'm just guessing $3,000, but whatever it is, it's going to be kind of a waste of money, because then we're going to come in a year with fiber anyway. I'm kind of wanting to think that we might as well do it right the first time, but it would be nice to see if anybody would want to share that connection with us as the fire station or South Central Public Health or anybody around the area. It would be nice to see if they'd like to share that. Because they might.
Okay. I can get with Jacob and the surrounding businesses.
Well, and I don't know whether that needs to influence our decision or anything on the move, but if it could come down because somebody shared it, it would be great. Commissioner Hubert, do you have some questions?
No, they've been answered.
Um,
Aren't you glad you're smiling that I don't have any questions?
I'm not
here?
gonna get beat up.
I've never beat you up.
there's a lot of good to the move. So where's your little list again with all your numbers? So, you know, we all know that we're paying $6,240 a year for the sheriff office to have this trailer out here. And so while there is some upfront cost to moving the sheriffs, you know, to the tune of $15,000, that doesn't, that goes away really fast when you just consider the trailer at $6,240 a year. So it kind of changes things entirely. I mean, that's not very much to pay to eliminate what I think is kind of an eyesore and a rent that just goes to somebody else.
Well, and that building over there, it is a concrete building, concrete block building, and it's in good shape. The bones are in good shape, so we're not just dumping money into
something real old.
Something old that's going to be deteriorating anytime soon. So,
and it's big enough to handle all of the sheriff's needs. We have a very small probation office that what we've got over here can handle their needs. They're very willing. So I see it as being a win-win for everybody in the future. And certainly, just 3 years pays the entire thing off if you only figure what it costs the trailer. And there's a lot more costs we're going to save to it as well. But the trailer itself, you're going to save pretty fast.
So the trailer is $520 a month. Is that right?
$550. The trailer.
Whatever that is divided by 12.
It's $62.40 a year, right, Roy?
Yeah.
On that.
This must be this trailer then.
This one's a little bit more.
Or cheaper, I think.
Oh, I thought they were both
Yeah,
the same.
520 is perfect. That's what I see.
520. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving forward, it also, this has also affected our parking lot and quite a bit of other things that we would like to be able to park there in the
Arts in the
future.
Park.
Parts of the park.
Arts in the park, all kinds of stuff has been affected by that. Not to mention that there's no bathrooms in these trailers, and that's kind of a hardship on all the employees as well.
It does suck.
I'd like to park my car right out here and get rid of this good thing.
Wow, see?
We can put up a sign, Commissioner Parking Lot. I don't know. Okay.
Yes, I'm seeing the Kleenex right here waving in the breeze.
That's funny.
Sorry.
Okay. So would anybody like to approve the sheriff's office move? And how do you want to do it? Do you want to
Yeah,
do it?
how are we?
We've already done that, haven't we?
Nope.
No.
We've been waiting on all these numbers.
No.
We were waiting for you last week when you were sick, Roy. We didn't want to do it without you.
Oh.
So what numbers?
All
So
of them.
it would be both the 6640 and the 8623.
And then the
So that number
You
is,
got the electrical.
we already did the electrical. 3, 6.
So
So
I'll
that'd be
make,
15,263. Yeah.
all right. I will make a motion to accept the proposed project quote from ETS. And that is the CM 1021 and the CM 1022 for the total of $15,263. Approve the work for moving the sheriff over to 115 West End.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second to approve the sheriff's move over to 115 West A, including the price of getting all of his computers and internet set up and fiber to the building.
But that did not include the magic.
We already did
We
that.
already did the magic.
Well, don't we want to? I guess what I would want, can you give me a total adding this 11,330?
It would be like 26,
26,
593.
something like that. Okay, thank you.
However, keep in mind that that electric bill, at least for myself, no matter whether the sheriff moves or not, we have to do that because we are out of code and compliance and have a dangerous building. So it really doesn't have to do with the sheriff's move so much as it has to do with
Well, if
anybody
we
who's in
didn't
there.
do anything, why we wouldn't have to do any changes. Am I correct on that?
Wrong.
Magic.
No.
If we just left everything the way it was.
As long as it wasn't occupied.
We can't occupy it currently, and we have it occupied. It's dangerous.
We've got part of this building.
We could get another trailer and put probation in it.
I don't see how we could have probation in there knowing that we have a fire hazard now. That would be not good. That'd be not doing our job. Okay, any other questions or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying yes.
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 Yes, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
did vote yes on this, Sheriff.
I heard that. Did you get that recording?
Make sure.
No, but
Yeah.
Okay, this one will take a little while, so we'll just go ahead and go in earlier. We'll still be talking about it at 11.
Good to
Thank
see
you
you.
so much.
Nice to meet you guys. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah. Need 'em?
I was gonna say, when did we start?
Yeah, it would be good if we got them started as soon as possible now that we know we've got problems down there.
Yeah, I would bless.
Curtis and Scott, thanks for coming in today. You're up. So ETS overages.
So, Commissioner, you mentioned there might be a way to share a PowerPoint here. Is there?
What do you have it on, a stick?
No, I just sent it to you.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, if that helps.
Okay. Let me go there.
Where do you want? Can I sit here? Do you want me to sit there?
Wherever you want.
Ask the chairman.
I'm gonna come closer if that's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry it's so hot in here. It's just really random.
No, that's okay.
I'm thinking because you said
I didn't
that
get it
the-
yet.
I think it's because of the vent is blowing onto the
Yeah, it is.
thermometer, and that's why it's running.
I didn't get it yet. Did
sorry.
you? Is it still going through?
I was raised in Arizona, so I am just fine because anything is better
You like
than
the
out.
heat?
Anything is better than out there.
What part of Arizona?
Mesa?
Oh.
If you wanted, we could push back and put your computer up here. You could stay there, and we could move to the audience to view it.
However you'd like to do it.
Because I don't have the
I-
email.
Oh, you don't have the email?
No.
Okay.
So I mean, it might just be easier for you to run it on your computer
That'd be
than
fine.
trying to do it
That'd
on
be fine.
mine.
Yeah, for some
Okay.
reason it did not send, so I thought I should.
I should take some cups home. Remind me to do that later.
I think it would be
helpful.
helpful.
Right
Yeah,
up
I'll be
here?
happy to sit right there.
And then you can pull up a chair so you can run it, and we'll move this way.
Thought you threw a hammer at me.
Does this camera need to stay here?
Let's move.
I've got Scott, or Richard, I've got you. You're not on the camera, but you are.
Let's make
He's
sure the
better on
camera
camera.
sees the computer, okay?
Do you,
He's the better looking part.
do you
of
move it, or
anyway,
do you
so.
want me to physically move it?
Physically. It needs to look at the computer.
Does that see?
Is that what you want, is the computer,
Sure.
for it to look at that?
Yeah.
Do you want it? Do you want it closer?
No, people are irritated too. Cindy didn't have time to get us figured out for an account on YouTube, so we'll work on that this week. Okay, go ahead.
It's a privilege to be here. I got to visit with you last week, remotely, virtually. I personally prefer face-to-face conversation. So it's,
As do I.
and I appreciate the opportunity of being able to do that. I want to start, technically speaking, with the end in mind. And the end is this, is ETS is coming in today to make a presentation, but to make an important request. I'd like to give a preface to that important request and kind of show you everything that we've done up until this point. This is something that we've thought about and worked on an awful lot, and we've tried to figure this out in many, many ways. And nevertheless, I hope that you'll see the value to this request in just a few moments. So if you go to the next slide. Before I get into the crux of all this, I really think it's important to make some acknowledgments, particularly from my position. So I'm the CEO of ETS. Jacob is the founder. He is our Chief Technology Officer. About a year and a half ago, he decided he was a horrible CEO and he wanted to be a CTO. And so he contacted me, and we'd known each other for many years, and asked me if I'd be willing to run his business. And so that's my joy and privilege to be able to run the company of ETS and work with great guys like Scott. So in my position as the CEO, it's important for me to be able to make some acknowledgments related to this project that we were able to do with all of you here in Lincoln County. We're very grateful to Region 4, who made the introduction in the very beginning and suggested to us that we contact and reach out to Lincoln County. And so I've always felt that Georgia Dimick and Jeff McCurdy are probably the best objective advocates that Magic Valley has when it comes to a lot of different things that are very helpful to broadband internet to water treatment to any number of different grants that are available and important to the communities, particularly in rural America. So we're very grateful to them. We're really grateful for Mayors Moon and Pearson and Naylor. They have been very supportive of this whole idea from the very beginning. A lot of that support necessarily comes from the great necessity that everyone felt was there related to the lack of broadband internet capabilities that you have throughout the county. And so it wasn't really hard to get support because they all recognized that the citizens needed something better, something more. And so we're really grateful for that. We're grateful for companies like Glanbia and Lincoln County Rec Center over here, and Four Brothers, to be able to get businesses within the community to be able to buy into something of this nature and to be able to offer their support. Glanbia, for example, is they're all prominent players in this. But Glanbia, for example, who was willing to pay for fiber to go to their plant to take a more circuitous route and pay for the more expensive route so that it could cross schools and the library and residences. I mean, it's really unusual for a community to have that kind of a partner. Four Brothers was willing to jump in and be a part of this too. So we're really grateful to them. Certainly, last but not least is, well, I've got the Idaho Department of Commerce as last, but we'll make them least. Not really, I'm just kidding. We've really enjoyed our association. Is that on record?
Well, it's not yet, now it will be.
We're very grateful for the opportunity of being able to work with the commissioners here in this county. We've really enjoyed this. One of the things that has been heralded as a true model worthy of all emulation is the ability that the commissioners had in getting a collaborative approach to this. To be able to get the cities in your community together with the county to work for the betterment of the whole is something that was regarded as unprecedented and not seen. And Commissioner Wood has probably been in a number of meetings where people have come to her and already asked, how's that being done? And I've already heard from others, from other counties, and they want to know how that was done. And so the collaborative effort between all of the communities is really due to the leadership that I really feel came from the commissioners. We're grateful for that. Last but not least, I guess, is the Idaho Department of Commerce. They're the ones that ultimately did provide us all the grant monies that we needed in order to be able to move forward with the broadband internet plan. So this project in and of itself was complicated. It is a 7 to 10 month project, maybe a 7 to 12 month project, but we're all aware that what happened was we were advised with about 90 to 100 days that we would be awarded, that Lincoln County was awarded the grant, you were the applicant, and that you had until December 31st to finish the project. So it was a project that required a lot more time but had to be done in 90 days. We were told by a number of people that they did not even apply for grant consideration related to this CARES Act money that was going to be given out by the state, by the Department of Commerce, because it was just impossible to do that job in that kind of time frame. It was just not feasible. And so a lot of people just bowed out from the very beginning. We accepted the challenge together with you, and we were grateful that you allowed us the opportunity through the RFP process to do this work. We accepted the $1.5 million grant, and we knew that it brought inherent risks with it. We knew that there would be procurement issues. We knew that. We understood that. We knew that would be an issue. We knew that there would be challenges with supply chain. We knew there would be problems with pricing. We knew a lot of these different challenges would come into place. The single most important non-negotiable element, though, to this particular project was December 31st. If it's not done, if it's not completed, then neither Lincoln County or anybody gets the money that has been invested into this project. So it was an all or nothing proposition. So all decisions when we decided to take on the job together with you, all decisions that we made, and this is an important element to the ask that we have, all decisions led to that particular non-negotiable element. Can we get done by the 31st of December? And so that was an important component.
Can I add something
Please.
to this? I just want to give praise to the men that were up at the top of the towers up there
In the snowstorm.
at 10 and 12 degree weather. I was in my warm car watching them, and I felt for them, and I think they should receive some praise.
So thank you for saying that. Just a few days ago, about a week ago, we singled 3 of them out particularly, who in the fog and in the snow and in the rain and in the ice and the wind were up there on those towers getting the job done. It wasn't easy and it was dangerous. So we took every precaution we could take, but we highlighted them, we gave them an additional bonus, and we made sure that they knew that we were grateful for their efforts. It took a lot. It's something I would never do, okay? He says he would, but he's a lot younger and not as wise as I am.
Not as much.
Not as wise.
So it was, but thank you for saying that. If it's all right with you, I'll make mention of that. So
Thank you.
I'll make sure. We also expected delays. We expected delivery issues. We expected daily obstacles and chaos. Let me give you one example. The towers, for example, we were told by a number of vendors that there would be no way that they'd be able to get us towers by the 31st of December. We couldn't even order anything until we knew that the money was there, procured, and that we had the job. We moved heaven and earth to get all of these things done. What ended up happening with the towers, and we even looked, I want you to be aware, that we even looked at the idea of buying used towers, but we ultimately decided that's just unacceptable and we can't do that. And so we were able to talk with the supplier who had the towers out in the yard, laying in the yard, ready to go for a different client, but they didn't need them until April. And so we convinced the client to allow us to buy the tower, and then the supplier promised to get them their tower by April, and there wouldn't be any.
This wasn't an offer they couldn't refuse, was it?
No. But that's just one example of some of the mountains that we had to move in order to be able to make this done. So not only were we able to overcome that obstacle, but the towers were actually delivered the first week in November, which was, in my book, everything from luck to providential. So we were very grateful for that. We had and we have the tractors. That's just all there was to it. And then last but not least, that December 31st, no matter what, we got to get this job done. If you go to the next slide. In the lease agreement to ETS, wherein you awarded us the opportunity to be able to manage the new infrastructure, there are 2 acknowledgments that I think are important and salient to our conversation here. The first one is the county acknowledges that its citizens, and I highlight schools, okay, because the schools are who needed it most and foremost, and it's that situation is not changing. If anything, it's going to get more pronounced. But schools, businesses need better and faster internet and wireless communications capacity. This was an acknowledgement in the document that we all signed. The county also acknowledges that there is a need and a legitimate public interest, and this is true as well, in providing low or no cost wireless services to the citizens of the county. And so I appreciate that acknowledgement, and that's the premise that we were all working under, that we really felt like was important for everything we were trying to accomplish. Oh, by the way, go back to that picture again. So that's like at 8 o'clock at night, and you can't see it in this picture, but there are 2 guys about midway up there. Everybody else is on the ground. These guys had like 6 more bolts that they had to tighten on that tower before they could come down. And
December 31st.
Yeah. Thankfully, no.
Every night.
But they couldn't get the bolts tight enough, and they worked on that. They were up there for about an hour and a half, and it was cold. I was on the ground was frozen, my feet were absolutely frozen. All I wanted was a hot bath, but I didn't feel like I could leave until those guys were off the tower. So thank you again, Commissioner Hubert, for making that comment. Last thing, and then we're going to get into some numbers here. Here's the final result. Lincoln County now has, in every sense of the word, state-of-the-art state-of-the-art infrastructure. You really do. And so this is the phase 1 Lincoln County Broadband Plan, which is completed. You have a point of presence data center, which is truly significant. And we didn't bring in 1 gig of speed to the data center. It's
10 gigs.
10 gigs. So you want to talk about redundancy and making sure the county had this is state of the art. That's more than you'll ever need.
Putting that in perspective, when we talk about delivering a wireless connection to a home, we're delivering them 100 megabytes of data, and 1 gig is 10 times that. That's 1,000. We brought 10,000 megabytes into the data center in the POP, so you have the ability to grow and expand as people keep using this for years to come.
And that's not something a lot of counties of your type can really say at this juncture. So their point of,
broke?
I'm sorry?
You mean broke, small and rural?
Yeah, well, I understand it. So, but